Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another spiritualistic pick a card reading. Today we're taking a look at what is your highest vibe next step. So please take a deep breath, drawing the energy up your spine, creating a clear and open channel. And as you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with Crystalline Blueprint. Group number 2 in the center with Divine Feminine, and group number 3 on the right with Solar Plexus. As always, the timestamps to your readings are listed below in the description box. When you're ready to work with me one-on-one, you can find all of the information on my personal channeling sessions, tarot and astrology readings, Reiki sessions, and light codes on my Etsy store at Spiritualistic. I also have an entire spiritual shop on there. You can find that link in the description box, where you can find all of my self-published decks, my published books, journals. I have a crystal shop, a candle shop, merchandise, and so many other tips, tools, goodies to help assist you on your journey wherever you may be. So, as always, I love you. I'm grateful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that you see whenever I upload a new video. And if you're interested in following me weekly, you can join my exclusive Inner Circle channel here on YouTube, or you can join my Patreon, where I also post every week. If you want more consistent readings, you can find them there. And you'll also be able to follow me on TikTok if you feel drawn over there as well. So thank you for being here. I love you, and I'll see you at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, group 1. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're looking at what is your highest vibrational next step. And you selected the first group with the Crystalline Blueprint card. Now, this is my Light Codes Oracle deck, which means that there is an energetic pattern that you can scry off of here, or that you can attune yourself in order to step in and connect with that energy more deeply. So it's intuitive art that is kind of like visual light language, or a selective mandala, if you will. So what we're looking at here is a situation where I'm hearing what goes around comes around. Your highest vibe next step is going to be reliant on the fact that you correctly interpret the situations around you. Maybe it's your dreams, maybe it's your spirit. And I'm getting that it's a bit more positive than your initial stance. Meaning that, group number 1, in order to take this highest vibe next step, you are being called to look at what it is that you do and don't deserve. And instead of kind of humbling yourself or shaming yourself while there are others around you who are kind of puffing out their chests, you're being called to remind yourself that you are a master of that which others have not bothered. You're being called at this point in time to also trust that things are working in your favor. I'm being shown a feedback loop. So you're being shot in somewhere, recycled, or put through an energy and then spat back out the other side. This is letting me know that something that seems like it's not working in your favor really is. And it's actually helping to pull some things from your subconscious mind to the forefront. So you might have been having very vivid dreams, very spiritual experiences recently. And with this Crystalline Blueprint card, this is saying that there are parts of your path that you knew were meant to integrate themselves into your physical life. There are parts of your maybe soul's karma, parts of your being as a soul, as a person, your interests, your hobbies, things that are meant for you based upon soul contracts or karmas or whatever it is that you believe in, that you are noticing. You're kind of being given the rip it off like a band-aid version. You have been given the opportunities for something to happen in the short way, meaning instead of walking through an experience for 5 years long, it kind of shows up and then leaves, and you have to do a lot in a short period of time. Basically, it sucks you in, spins you through a loop, and then shoots you out the other side. This is intentional because you do not need to walk these long paths, this long journey in this area or these few areas of life here that are coming up energetically, because they're already in your Crystalline Blueprint. However, they have to show up. For example, say this has to do with a relationship in your life. This is just the example that Spirit is showing me. It's most likely not this for most of you, but just to keep it simple. If you are fated for a loving relationship, if it is in your your soul's blueprint and intention in this lifetime to enter this loving relationship, you still will have to go through most likely a first date, right? An awkward conversation. You might need to go through comfort, discomfort, facing your shadow, facing others' shadows, and not in a karmic way necessarily, but in a way where you still have to kind of do the dirty work in order to get there. If you want to be a runner, first you have to put on those shoes and get into running shape. It's kind of saying what this is. And you are kind of put through the boot camp edition, the supersonic edition of whatever this is, so that this could be integrated into your life in a way that's a little more in your realm of possibility, in your physical life, not just in your soul's contract, in your crystalline blueprint. Now we are taking a look at your highest vibrational next step. And so this is where I'm going to get into the cards. What I'm getting here is that your highest vibrational next step is to continue to focus on your spiritual growth and development. It is to shuffle around your priorities a little bit so that your spirituality comes first, your personal beliefs come first, and the things underneath that can kind of fall underneath. Your crown chakra is the one on the top. And think of it like this. It is a pyramid. The highest vibrational chakra is the crown chakra, and it's also on the top for a reason. So allow yourself to kind of look at this in a way where your crown chakra, things that relate to your faith, your spirituality, your growth in this sense, it's your first priority. It goes on the top. And then from here, things that are perhaps intuitive, perceptive, visualization, things that are pineal will go next. Then throat, then heart, then solar plexus, then sacral, then root. So basically, your highest vibrational next step is to strategically prioritize your life from the crown down. Crown being first, root being last. What is the highest vibrational next step for group number 1? What is group number 1's highest vibrational next step? Shuffle one more time. The highest vibrational next step for group number 1 from my Follow Your Heart Oracle. What is the highest vibrational next step for group number 1? Setting your intention. See, if I were still talking about something else while I was shuffling your cards, that would be the energy directed in the cards. However, it is important to continue to have your energy focused on what it is that you are working on, what it is that you're doing, so that that energy can grow and expand. For example, if I am telling you about a story in my life or how I feel about something while I'm shuffling the cards, then that will be what the cards expand upon, rather than the question. So, we have expect the unexpected here. Okay, so your highest vibrational next step has a lot to do with already faith. It has a lot to do with trusting the universe, the co-creative part that is not your responsibility. The highest vibrational next step for group number 1. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Pick a card off the top and the bottom. Feet on the earth and exploring patience. Okay, so being patient, first and foremost, about the way that things manifest. Self-love, okay. Reminding yourself that you are worthy of love in all ways, but also treating yourself well, okay? Where are you feeling respected or disrespected in your life? And with this being the case, you're also being called to prioritize your self-love. And now you might think that self-love has to do with the heart chakra, which is true, but it also pertains to all of the chakras. And it also is talking about the crown chakra too, because you are divine incarnate. Divine is you, you are divine. And so, are you treating yourself the way that you would treat divine? Are you treating others the way you would treat divine? When you see yourself, see the divine, and when you see everything around you, see the divine, because that is the only thing in existence. It is our human mind, it is our human perception, it is our narratives and our human egos that tell us otherwise. So it is your highest vibrational next step to expect the unexpected and trust in the universe to shuffle things around for you, but also take a look here at where, in a very grounded tactical sense, things are either working for you or you have to make them work. Because at the end of the day, you are a co-creator. You're a co-creator with you and the people that you deal with. So everything shouldn't be on you. You're a co-creator with you and your home. Your home provides shelter and you take care of your home. You are a co-creator in your relationships. You do emotional work and they do emotional work. You are in co-creator with your job. Your job provides for you and you provide your job. So taking a look at where things are mutually exchanged. Some of you, the stock exchange might be, I'm hearing don't pull your investment. The stock exchange might be significant for someone here as well. Your highest vibrational next steps are going to include looking at things from a grounded perspective and seeing where there is love and reciprocity. Also, if you can, if this is something that you do where you can afford to have this service or it's something that you provide on your own, it's actually going to be taking a look at the astrological weather for you as an individual and for certain events that are sparking your interest that might not seem like they necessarily pertain to you individually, but they do. There are certain things that you're feeling. Maybe old people are coming back from the past and it's not Mercury retrograde and it's not Mercury retrograde shadow. So you're wondering, okay, so what's going on here? You'll be able to find it either in your chart or pertaining to a particular larger event that might be aspecting Mercury right now, but it might be a detriment Mercury. Now, if this is a little over your head with the astrological stuff, you can always hire an astrologer. I do offer this service. There are many other beautiful, trustworthy astrologers that know what they're talking about. There's also this indication here not to forget to look at things from the outside in, look at things inside out. Remember that when we say, it's Aries season, it is actually Libra season. Every single thing is taught from the perspective of the ground up. Remember that Pisces rules the feet, the thing that touched the ground. Pisces, the ungrounded, rules the feet. It is not what sign the sun is in that matters. We revolve around the sun. It is what sign the earth is in that matters. We experience the season that the earth is in. So when we're told it's Aries season, it's actually Libra season because the earth is in Libra. Now, from our perspective, from the ground up, the crown seems far away. This is why you're being called to take a crown perspective shining down. For your highest vibrational next step, you are being asked to explore patience a little bit, especially when it comes to hearing other people out. You are being encouraged as well to connect with your spirit guides and your spirit team, especially the ones that were here in the beginning of your journey spiritually. Maybe the belief system that led you into your spiritual practice now. Maybe the first guide or guides that you connected with. Maybe the first deities you connected with on your journey. These old friends, if you will, spiritually. You're being called to connect with them. And work with golden light for my energy workers, Reiki healers, or just visualization meditation friends out there as well. Working with golden light. I will pull the tarot so we can get some more grounded information for you. But before we do, I want to remind you to subscribe to my channel so that you see the next time that a video is being uploaded. If you wouldn't mind liking this and dropping a comment, maybe a shiny pink heart emoji, it helps me out a lot. Now, the highest vibrational next steps for you are going to be to really work on those aspects of yourself that you are feeling uncomfortable with. Maybe it's, wow, I really feel like a doormat lately. Or maybe it's, I don't see why I have all of this information and no one is listening to me. But you're also being encouraged to hear other people out. So there's this dualistic aspect. You're being called again to see the optimistic side like we had in the Crystalline Blueprint card. Where you are saying, I can't believe that I have to sit here and deal with this. You came out of it unscathed. You're being shown your strength. You're being shown your tenacity. You're being shown what you're capable of. And this is not to say that your feelings and your emotions are not valid, but it is to say that the highest vibrational next step for you involves looking at things from the top down. Well, it's important to stay in tune with your human perspective and your human narrative and the way that things feel, emotionally and in your sacral chakra and the way that it affects your physical body and the earth here. It is of utmost importance that you maintain that bird's eye view of what's really going on so that you don't get lost in your emotions, so that they're not what carries you through your day, because that's not healthy. So that it's not your personal narrative that's pushing you through your day, because that's not healthy either. And it's not to say that we're supposed to let go of these things, but it is to say that nothing should have so much control over you that it really shakes you that much. Now your feelings, the reverberation is normal. When you play a guitar string, the string vibrates and it shifts and it moves, and that's what makes the sound. It is the sound that you make, the beautiful sound that you make, that you're being called to listen to, not the fact that the string got strummed. So it's this perspective that you're being called to step in with. Now let's see a little more tangibly, please, Spirit, so we can give group number 1 some good advice. What is their highest vibrational next step? Right out the gate, we have the King of Coins. Invest. Look at where you're going to invest your time and your money, your resources, and your attention. What is it that you wish to be? What is it that you wish to have going on in the long term? I'm getting that the choices that you make at this point in time are going to last over the next few seasons of your life. So choose with discretion. Your highest vibrational next step is going to actually involve receiving some sort of gift from someone who you are undecided about, or you feel as though they're undecided about you. You're being asked to receive this. Do not say that you can't. Do not refuse it, but receive it. Because there is this knowledge within you that you are being called to share. But there seems to be this something that you see that no one else sees. Or alternatively, there's something that you have seen for a very, very long time. And now everyone is starting to see it. They still don't have the full picture, but now they're beginning that journey to start to get there. And so for you, the highest vibrational next step is going to be to remind yourself of all the information that you put out there, the foundation that you already built, to continue expanding on it, trusting that you're not left behind, you're actually ahead of the game. It is to follow your intuition and to remind yourself that you are meant to receive. You've been giving and giving and giving with almost nothing in return for a very long time, and you stayed because it was where you were meant to be. You stayed because it's in your blueprint, but that's not the only thing that's in your blueprint, and you know it. And so you know if you follow your intuition, you get to where you're supposed to go. And you, group 1, you know what that looks like. You know where you're headed. And so because of this, you know that if this is the path that you're chosen to take, you know that this path will lead you there, or at least it will take you to the path to get there. So your highest vibrational next step, it is to create something new. And with the 5 of Swords, it is to pay attention to, at this point in time, the thoughts in your head. Whose voice are you listening to? Whose perspective are you trying to hone in on at this point in time so that you can make your next steps, so that you can try to please someone else? Are you hearing someone's voice in your head that's not yours, telling you what to do? And I'm not saying this in a weird way. I'm saying this in a way where is it one of your parents? Is it an old lover who wasn't very nice? Was it a judgmental friend? Is it an old business partner who was non-negotiable with you, who was not collaborative with you? What you're looking at is the voice in your head. Who does it belong to? And if you don't have a voice in your head, it's that feeling about how things are going for you. Does that even belong to you in the first place? You might be taking it on, but where does it go? Where did it come from? You are being asked to take a look at your inner child. You are being asked to follow your intuition. And your highest vibrational next step, it is going to be to make a decision that you have been having a hard time making. Something that you thought you were going to progress forward, but at the end of the day, you realize that you would be the happiest if you didn't. Some of you knew this right out the gate, but you were also called to walk that path in order to get to the other side. Instead of just saying no and identifying it, you were called to walk through something. And so the highest vibrational next step for you, it's going to be to really be able to dictate, really be able to actually put pen to paper and say, this is why I'm uncomfortable. This is how I deserve more. Here is how the situation is going to change because it needs to suit me, and that is non-negotiable. So you are looking at being a lot more optimistic about yourself, pertaining to what's possible for you, what you have to offer, how beautiful you are, and the way that you are being called to move through this life, because you know a lot more than you're leading on. You know what you're doing a lot more than you're being given credit for. There is something here where if everyone is grouping up and making group number 1 the underdog or the odd one out, but at the end of the day, you're the expert. At the end of the day, you're the one who knows what they're doing, and they would be lucky to have you help them out. But because of maybe your gender, because of maybe your sexuality, because of maybe your age, because of maybe your belief, you're being discriminated against and held aside. Because of your consistency and your lack of delusion, because of your clarity, you're being pushed aside. Now, as wherever this would have instigated from initially, wherever this would have began, we do have the inner child coming through here, which is why you're being asked to see whose voice is it really that you're hearing. When that person tells you no, when somebody is behaving oddly to you, whose voice is it really that is making you scared? Is it a response to somebody else? Is it your inner child? Your highest vibrational next step is to go through this journey, and it is to see things from the perspective of you are a badass group one, and you deserve to be treated like that too. And also to honor and acknowledge where you're not being treated fairly. To honor and acknowledge that you have what it takes to take things a step further and to create what it is that you want for yourself. And you know this, you've been doing this, but there's something here about you giving yourself internal validation, and the moment that you open up that door to others, they try to squash it down. Because the progress that you've made, it's very far. Now, if you are in a room of people who are working on personal development in any way, spiritual or not, you'll be able to find commonality with those people. You'll lift each other up. You'll say, I'm eating and you're eating too. I'm happy for everyone. There's room for everyone. But if you are someone who works on personal development in a room of people who don't, in a room of people who will toss their shadows and projections around like crazy, just because they don't want to do the personal development work, because they are who they are and that's what it is. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Okay, how can you make it work for me? But it's already written in their favor. You're already bending over backwards in order to try to appease them. There is never a situation where you're going to be enough in that situation, because they are never enough to themselves. You are being called for your highest vibrational next step to know that you are enough. You have been enough. You are way more than enough. And you are not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong person, the wrong people, the wrong situation, and you know it. So the highest vibrational next step for you, group number one, it is going to be to put your feet on the ground a little bit. Stand firm in your position. They know what you want. They know what you need, and they know that you're being patient. You are giving an inch and they're seeing if they can take a mile. You're giving a mile and they're seeing if they can take even more. So do expect the unexpected, because the universe is asking you here. I just want to find these oracles again. They are asking you to stand in your pride, not in your ego, but in your pride. Be proud of yourself. Be confident in yourself. Be confident in your knowing of what's for you. And maybe walking through something is for you, but landing there isn't. Sometimes we're shown in our visions, right? In our ideas, in our inspirations, in our dreams, where it is that we're going. And sometimes what we thought would be a destination, it's actually a pathway. And so you're acknowledging right now that some of the things around you were pathways that you thought were destinations. And that doesn't mean that there's not more to unfold here later down the line, but it is saying that the timing is meant to be right with astrological transits and explore the patience. Trust in the timing. I'm being shown that Starseed Oracle card in my mind's eye that says trust the wave that you came in on. Some of you may have pulled that in your own personal readings or received it on another one of my readings here on YouTube. We have feet on the earth with dark night of the soul, which is kind of the duality between the root and the crown chakra. So do organize things in your priority list from the crown down. Do take some time to do that introspective work. This is why it's the highest vibrational next step for you, because everyone's not going to sit down and do that. Everyone's not going to surrender their idea, their perception of time. Everyone's not going to look at a path and try to hold on to it as their destination when it's clearly being shown to them that they're meant to continue walking forward because there's more. There's a spider climbing on my window that I just noticed now, and the spider is the weaver of dreams. It's also something that is a big fear point for a lot of people. The spider represents Scorpio. And this is all that is unseen. It is sex, death, rebirth, transformation. It's debts, it's shared inheritance. It's occultism. It's all of the things that make people excited or terrified. Is debt a good thing or is it a bad thing? Well, it depends on who you're asking and what they intend to use it for. Is going after your dreams a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it depends on who you're asking and what they intend to do with it. Is occultism a good thing or a bad thing? Is death a good thing or a bad thing? Is sex a good thing or a bad thing? Transformation, good or bad? This is what you are being faced with. This is what you represent in the world, and you're being called to look at yourself not as, well, is it good? Is it bad? Is it enough? Is it not enough? Should I do something differently? I know it's meant for me, but no, you are the spider. You are the spider, and that is why you're being called to see this differently, and for your next steps to stand in your power. Remember that when a human comes across a spider, the spider is more scared of you than you are of it. Yet, it is the human that has the irrational response. So you as a spider, know who you are. Continue to connect with your blueprint, your spiritual blueprint, all of the things that you know are meant for you. And I'm getting that you could use another check-in at this point in time. There are a couple of corners to tidy up, simply since it's been a while and 'tis the season. And there are some things that are ready to unfold for you now, because you got to that destination point. But it was not a destination, it was a path. Now you're here, you see it as a mile marker. A mile marker to where? Well, close your eyes, introspect, and see what is shown to you. Group number 1, this is your highest vibrational next step. I hope this sheds love, light, and clarity for you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. When you're ready for a personalized and more descriptive reading for you, I do offer one-on-one readings on my spiritual store on Etsy at Spiritualistic, linked in the description box below. I love you, I'm grateful for you, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, Group 2. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at your highest vibrational next step. And you selected the second group with the Divine Feminine card. Now this is off of my Light Codes Oracle deck, which means that we have a scrying tool on the back. So, Group 2, connecting with this energy, it seems as though there have been a lot of twists and turns in your life lately, and not just lately, but in the grand scheme of things. You're able to see things from a larger perspective, how everything was turning in the divine favor, in the grand favor of all, and in your favor. I'm getting these moments where you're starting to realize, oh yes, this was in my favor, this was in the greatest good, this is how it was happening. You're starting to kind of have those little tiny pieces coming through, those confirmations of your intuition, those confirmations of the vibe that you knew, but over a long period of time, when you have information and you walk through something that looks like Alice in Wonderland, sometimes you forget what the world looks like outside of Wonderland, and vice versa. However, you're at a place now where you're able to equally see them both. You're able to see things from a larger perspective. Tapping in with your highest vibrational next step here, it seems as though we have a little bit of magic that is coming in for you. A few things where the divine is coming through and saying, feel free to have a little more fun. Feel free to polish things off a little bit more. Feel free to go back to versions of you that you love exploring, but maybe it's a little bit more of a luxury for you to explore them. And it doesn't need to be things that are socially considered luxurious, although they can be. There seem to be some things where maybe if you had more time, of course you would dive into that hobby. If you had more resources, of course you would do that thing. If you had less fatigue, of course you would book your schedule closed, things like this. And the divine is saying, now there's a reason why you were being shown your bandwidth for certain things pertaining to certain energies. You're being encouraged now to step into this next chapter of your life from the perspective of, let's fill up my bandwidth as though I'm looking at the worst day possible. And it's not saying that you're supposed to expect things to go poorly, because this is not at all what I'm getting for you. I'm getting that it's quite the opposite. But if you have those days where maybe on accident you stay up a little too late, or you don't get enough sleep, maybe those days where maybe if you are a human that menstruates, maybe it's one of those days, one of those weeks, and you maybe are just moving a little more slowly. You need to honor yourself a little more. Well, moving forward, you're being called to book your schedule, to set up your life, to actually fit in with that version of you that has those slower moments, that might be a little tired on extra days. So basically, you're being called to look at the smallest that your bandwidth can be in certain areas and work with that and allow that to be your status quo moving forward. So when you have energy that heightens, when you have a larger bandwidth in spiritual, mental, emotional ways, you are actually going to be able to have a lot more beautiful things on your plate to allow you to pick up that hobby, to allow you to invest in other things, to allow you to polish off those things, have some time for yourself, etc. So group 2, your highest vibrational next step is going to be to connect with your feminine energies, your divine feminine energies, regardless of your gender, regardless of your sex. You are being called to connect a little more deeply with the version of you that is intuitive, the version of you that feels things, the version of you that has a 28-day cycle. Now, we all do, actually. Whether or not your body puts on the forefront the 28-day cycle or the 24-hour cycle, well, that's going to be individual for all of you. For some people, it's perfectly even, and it honestly depends on the individual. However, regardless of your body or your personal balance, you are being called to tap in with that lunar cycle, with that 28-day cycle, and see the way that it affects you as an individual. And on top of that, you're also being called to be a little bit more ethereal, to be a little bit more free, to be a little bit more, for some of you it will be spiritual, for some of you it will be whimsical, for some of you it will be perhaps creative, not in a sacral way where you're making and building stuff, but creative in a way where you're having that divine vision, that divine inspiration, some of the less grounded aspects of creativity, which is beautiful. Now, group 2. The energy here is that you're the one who always needs to ground things. So say that you have this creative inspiration and someone else around you is kind of just stoic and they say, oh, it would be really cool if blank, but you have to figure it out, but you have to ground it, but you have to fix it. They give you not even a rough draft. They give you a very stoic, ungrounded idea that's not possible, and they make you do the dirty work. They make you do the nitty-gritty. You have to ground it. Now, although you are in your spiritual energies, you are being called at this point in time to outsource that grounding energy and allow yourself to step into that a little bit more ethereal, ungrounded, visualizational energy. And I'm not saying ungrounded in a way where you are not connected to your body or reality or things like this, but depending on who's listening to this today, this might look like delegating some tasks. It might look like getting that assistant so that you can say, hey, these are the things that are on my mind. Here is what I want to eat this week. Here are the changes I'm thinking about creating, and then someone else can kind of deal with those nitty-gritty things for you. Someone else can prepare that food, or someone else can put together your schedule. Someone else can make sure that you're dressing appropriately for the occasion, things like this. So this is how you're being called to step into your feminine energy moving forward. It is going to be to, first of all, fill up your idea of your reality, fill up your day, fill up your routine, fill up your schedule with that idea that you're moving through your lowest capacity, not because you're expecting yourself to, but because you're gracing yourself and honoring yourself with giving yourself that gift, which means that it will always feel possible, it will always feel probable, and most of the time, it will actually feel quite simple, easy, and amazing for you. So with that in mind, you're also being called to step into your feminine energy by polishing off some things and letting yourself be a little bit more, I guess, imaginative, innovative, not in an engineer type way, but in an idealistic kind of way, meaning ideas, coming up with ideas, idealistic. How would this go the best? Now someone else can figure it out. And now some of you might be looking around like, oh, that's great, but I'm a parent of 3 children. That's not always practical, right? Something like this. What you're being called to do is allow yourself through your heart space. Again, ethereal ideas coming through here, opening up through your heart space to allow yourself that space for something to come in, to open up the idea of delegating some task, to open up the idea of maybe hiring out, to open up the idea of you having, again, ideas and letting these things get taken care of on your behalf. You are focusing on the decor, you're focusing on polishing, you're focusing on the ideas, you're focusing on the vibe check. You're not focusing on how you can structure these things. You're being called to lift into your feminine energy because you have that strong foundation in your own masculine energy. You also have that strong access to your feminine energy and to your heart space. We see here that you're very balanced, but we also see here that sometimes you can anchor down into your root chakra just a smidge too much. And the reason will be a little different for all of you. But your highest vibrational next step, it's going to be for you to allow yourself to anchor into your feminine energy a little bit more. And allow yourself to trust that those grounded aspects will be taken care of for you in ways that are based upon your ideas and systems. This is the thing. You're going to notice that in applying this step by step, it's easier said than done, of course. You are going to actually allow yourself to set ideas, and it will require the strongholds around you. It will require the energies around you that get things done. It will require those who come in order to help you, whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, whether it's a vibe, that support energy around you. It will require it to meet those prerequisites. It will require it to be capable of those ideas. It will require it to be capable of that energy, because you are not grounding in that energy and saying, okay, so let me show you how to do it. Or fine, I'll just do it myself. Or, well, there's this beautiful idea, but I have to always be the one to put it into action. Now, you're being called to let your bandwidth be what it is. It is not a capacity problem for you, and it's not a bandwidth problem for you. Your highest vibrational next step is to actually honor yourself on the day where maybe you don't want to speak to anyone, on the day where maybe you're having really bad cramps, on the day where maybe you are a little bit tired, on the day where maybe you didn't sleep that well that night. Honor yourself on that day and allow that to be your schedule, and also honoring and expecting the fact that with that being your foundation, you then don't need to do too much. You get to do less and less and less. And the ideas get bigger and bigger and bigger. The imagination gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that allows you to open up into a new world, into a new reality. And so you're being called to gently, lovingly add a little bit of stoicism into your life. Open up that heart for yourself, creating extra space for you so that it will sink through and bleed through those good days, those bad days, everything. You'll always have more than enough space. And allow yourself to outsource some things, but also to stay anchored in that feminine energy. If you outsource something and they will continue to do it wrong, it means that you're still in a, well, this is how it needs to get done, this is how I'm doing it energy. And that's not a bad thing. But your highest vibrational next step is actually to anchor into that feminine for you so that you can have this picture. And that picture is what gets completed. But you are so busy creating pictures and pictures and pictures and inspiration and receiving intuition and downloads and information and ideas and beauty, that everything falls into alignment as it trickles down those energies, those chakras. Everything falls into alignment as it trickles down. You are not needing to babysit energies and show them step by step how to execute your ideas, how to fold towels properly, how to make sure that your assistant isn't double booking your schedule, because the energy that you are in does not even allow for that to come in the first place. And so it might shoo off a couple things in the meanwhile, but what this is going to do is liberate your root chakra and your solar plexus from a lot of the burdens that it's been holding that are not supposed to belong to you. Not because they can't, but because they're not supposed to. You don't need to. You don't need to expand your capacity and be even more of a superhero than you already are. You're being called to let yourself reap the results. Let yourself be so gracious with yourself that of course it's going to happen in your favor. That of course you have time for that. That of course you would love to. But remember that you never have to. And most things that you deal with, they're not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to teach that. It's not your responsibility to manage that or micromanage that. It's not your responsibility to ground that. And although the world might have shown you differently, because you can always use an extra set of hands, especially when you're digging a hole, you are someone who broke out of that mentality. You are someone who realized, hey, we're just digging a hole here. You're being called to continue to awaken. Give yourself the space to continue to awaken. Allow it to feel good, to remember, and allow yourself to get nice and comfortable up there. So let's get into your cards and take another look at your highest vibrational next steps. So this is my Light Codes Oracle. I'm going to be using my Follow Your Heart Oracle for the following chart. How can group number 2 step into their highest vibrational next step? What is group number 2's highest vibrational next step? Woo! Okay, we have quite a few cards here. Revisiting priorities at the back of the deck. This goes without saying. Now, the one that is facing all of them. Now, take a look here. We've got Dive Deeply Within. We talked about this. Astrological transits. Okay, time for everything. Everything has a place and everything is in its place. Okay, including times for things. Okay, meaning that now it's It's the time for you to do this. Maybe it wasn't before, but that doesn't mean it doesn't get to be. Now it is time. We have Dark Night of the Soul, removal of obstacles, what you've been working through during your shadow work, and what has been facing all of these things. What is that you against the world? What is that energy that is shining through all of this journey that the cards are presenting for us here? Psychometry and clair abilities. Look at that. Your spirituality, your psychic abilities. In the beginning of this reading, we talked about honoring yourself and your spirituality, honoring your faith, honoring the gifts that you do have, the intuition that you do have. Because here we have this idea of things that you can touch and see and tangible, and building a solid foundation of all of these things, and stability and comfort, a lot of root chakra things, right? And so as we're looking at this, psychometry, it is picking up spiritual information through touch. And your clair abilities, the clairs. All of them, all of the spiritual gifts and abilities you can have. And then some, of course. And so this is, even the things that you touch, you are connected to spirit, anchoring yourself in that spiritual energy, regardless of the journey your body is walking through. Now we see here that your body has been walking through quite a journey, and that you've been learning a lot. You've been removing a lot of obstacles in your mind and your soul around you, and you have built a nice little foundation for yourself. And I say little sparingly, of course, gently. You've built a nice foundation for yourself. But what you're being called into now is this liberation of self, this liberation of self-realization. And so this highest vibrational next step for you, it's actually going to be to, I'm hearing, put your money where your mouth is by letting others take care of it for you. Letting yourself be almost so expectant that what you've known this whole entire time, regardless of the journey you had to walk through in order to get there, those little pieces of information that you got years ago and now they're coming into fruition, that intuition that you had, and even though the world tried to show you otherwise and people got in your ear, you were correct. All of those little pieces, as they come into fruition, now you are being called to sit expectantly in what you know is true. Yes, you were right all along. Yes, certain things are more important than others think, and certain things are not important at all, and that's what everyone's obsessing with. Yes, you knew that was going to happen a long time ago, and yes, this is smart, and that is not, and, it might not be comfortable for everyone, but that's okay. Just sit expectantly, and no, it goes this way. I'm being shown Miranda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada, where she's talking about cerulean blue. And she's saying, I know that you think that you're all high and mighty because you are making an action that is opposed to this great system, but actually what you're doing is feeding into it. And just because you're uneducated does not make you correct. It just simply makes you uneducated and egoic. And that was not necessarily the point of the movie, but that was her intention through the scene. And so there's an energy like this where you're being called to sit expectantly in your knowing. Almost like, yes, I'm well aware. I'm well aware already. And also we're way past that. Also we're way beyond that. Also, I'm busy doing God's work. What are you doing? I'm busy connecting with the universe so everything pans out. It's not your job. Take your hands off of it, group 2. That's your highest vibrational next step. Stop trying to do more. Let others do more. There's also a situation here coming through the card saying that you are trying to do so much for everyone in these specific situations or individuals or businesses or systems. They should be working for you. You're not supposed to be working for them. They're supposed to be working for you. So let's dive into your tarot and we'll take a look at your highest vibrational next steps. You can give us a little more of a storyline or a little bit more of a tactical, practical action or something here. Spirit, please, for group number 2. Although this is pretty much, that question is pretty antithetical of the advice itself so far. What is the highest vibrational next step for group number 2? 6 of Cups. It's to reminisce. It's to vibe. It's to feel. It's to look back. It is to be nostalgic. It is to follow your heart, not in your actions, but in your feelings. To follow that feeling, follow that clairsentience, follow that, follow that clairsentience, those feelings. I feel pink today. I feel yellow today. I feel meditative today. I feel restful today. I feel like I want to read today. I feel innovative today. Your highest vibrational next step, it is going to be to speak into existence, but upon listening ears. You speak into existence. This is stepping into a leadership position by taking your hands off, which is not what... this is kind of giving the energy here of perhaps an oracle, or of a CEO, or of someone who they say the word and then it gets done. Not necessarily someone who has to run around and do it all. This isn't the person who has 5 jobs and 5 kids and 5 other businesses that they need to work on all of the time. This is someone who, sure, they have these things, but they have people that are also on that tree, so they don't have to run around and do everything themselves. This is delegate, delegate, delegate. I want to eat more fruits. Okay, let it be done. We can set a 3-week trial? Yeah, sure, whatever. All of a sudden, there are more fruits in your fridge. You're eating more fruits. You're not... this is you making the decisions and those ideas coming into fruition in applicable ways. And again, falling upon listening ears, falling upon open ears. Your highest vibrational next step, it is to share your ideas, and it is to visualize the future. It's very much giving the energy of... well, Spirit is showing me somebody meditating in mountains, and they meditate all day, all night, all the time. And occasionally someone will come up to them and they'll say, hey, I'm having a problem with XYZ. Can you help me with this? You are a spiritual master. And simply you open your eye, barely, joyously, and you say, not too much and not too little, but just enough. And what it is that you say is taken with such sincerity, with such joy, with such integrity, that your word is taken almost as direction. Again, the CEO who delegates their tasks to their assistant, and it has to be a good assistant, otherwise they can just get a better assistant. And this is where that anchoring into the feminine energy comes in, because you're not, well, I got a shitty assistant, okay, so let me just do it all myself, whatever, it's fine. Let's keep the assistant, or let's fire the assistant, or let's go through all of these things. It is, your energy is so that that assistant comes to you. This is a little bit less trying to figure out the manifestation and ground it and write it and do all of the crazy things that we see in the capitalistic version of manifestation. But it's rather being anchored in divine, being anchored in your consciousness, being anchored, yes, in your feminine energy, yes, with the lunar cycles, yes, feeling the change in the wind and understanding that that is what you're feeling, rather than listening to the gossip of people around you and trying to assume and speculate like others do. You feel the change in the wind and you know it's occurring. Because you have that clairsentience, that sensitivity, that femininity. Things are polished. They are ready. They're ready before someone tells you about that. Someone tells you, oh, we have to go here now, but moments before you just finished getting ready because you already knew. And this is something that you've been in, an energy you've been in for years. But it is that stronghold there, not needing to go up and down from feminine to masculine energy or try to stay balanced and centered in the two because you're doing everything alone. This is the energy where you are spirit and spirit is you. This is the energy of you are many, you are few, you have been doing, and so now you get to release because things must be balanced. And so as you take your hands off, you're going to notice that things work for you. You're not running around on empty all of the time. Rather, you are allowing your cup to fill and overflow once more. And someone can simply bring their own cup and allow a little bit to fall from your overflow and then step away, and your cup continues to overflow. So a little more tangibly, your highest vibrational next step, it is to actually commune with something or someone, or at least to think about or meditate on, contemplate on something or someone from the past that has been coming up, either in your thoughts, in your mind, in your physical reality, something like this, and do some internal exploration about this, some spiritual exploration, not trying to speculate at yourself or see what is the good thing and the bad thing, not trying to speculate, simply receiving. Then we have you moving in a direction that is evolved because it is in this anchoring of this is the vision, this is what's occurring, this is the energy, this is the truth. Because that is a job in and of itself. The one that you are not counting, on top of all of your other responsibilities that are going to be dissolving and dissipating into this one, finally. Your highest vibrational next step is going to be to continue to visualize, work on those visualization skills. Whether you're a beginner or a master, or you say, my brain can't do that, or, oh, I do that every day. Your job right now, your highest vibrational next step, that is to focus on those visualization skills for the future, but honoring what it is that you're receiving spiritually, not to create in visualization, but to receive in visualization. Focus on that skill. And then it is to allow yourself to learn through your spiritual vision, through your spiritual eye, through the truth, and allow yourself to unfold and blossom truly, because you are going to be stepping into a higher space than you have been before in every area of life. And so with this, we do see reciprocity. We do see things that were not working for you before working now, because you're anchored in love for self and spirit. Before you had love for self and spirit, and also you had to get all of these things done. Now your love for self and spirit, you are anchoring in this. And so your highest vibrational next step is to allow that love to be returned to you from a source outside of yourself, which in reality does not exist. But because you're pouring that into yourself and into spirit so much, you're receiving that, and spirit is pouring that back into you. God is pouring that back into you. The universe is pouring that back into you. And so finally, you get to take your hands off. You get to delegate. And it's not because you are doing the work and rolling up your sleeves and putting together the best team of people to no. It is because you are in full surrender, full release, full vision, full consciousness, full awareness. And these obstacles have been removed because you're no longer in the delusion that others are in. You're no longer in the delusion that you were tempted into, even though you saw the truth beforehand and knew that as a stronghold. No longer can you be swayed. And so your highest vibrational next step is to step into that energy. Let it empower you, embody it, and see the way that things around you quickly shift. Now I'm getting that the other steps for you. Okay, so I didn't pull this energy for group number 1, but it wanted to come through. We have the 4 of Cups at the back of the deck. This energy here is coming through as your highest vibrational next step. Embody that energy. But I'm getting that if that's not what you step in with, if you don't just try to flip that switch and work on it a little bit every day, or flip that switch tomorrow or next week or something, or meditate on it until you fully embody it. If you're not, I'm just being shown like Superman or Spider-Man or something ripping off, like hulking into their super suit, whatever. I'm also hearing, where's my super suit? But that's probably because I'm a goofball. Instead of like just stepping yourself into that energy, that is your highest vibrational next step. But your other options do include warming into it, easing yourself up into it. But your highest vibrational next step is to kind of Hulk, Superman, Spider-Man yourself into that energy. And it is to embody it fully, righteously. The other options that you have are to overlook it a little bit and take your time to get there, but I'm getting that you're not going to want to do that. That's why this is your highest vibrational next step. Because to see the changes that you want, you are able to see them. You are now ready. You have now been initiated into this chapter of your life. And so, step into it. So, in this energy, you're being called to cannonball. Not dip your toe in and go down the steps and then walk from the shallow end to the deep end. You're being called to say, I know how to swim. I know how to wade in water. I belong here. Let's go. So, that is your highest vibrational next step. Group number 2, I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. If you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, you'll be able to see the next time that I post a video, and it will help me out a lot. Also, if you like and comment on this video, it would be a beautiful way to build this community. Put a little strong arm muscle guy emoji down in the comments below. if this resonated with you. If you're interested in a one-on-one session with me for a more personalized and detailed experience, you can book a session with me in channeling, tarot, astrology, astrocartography if you're moving, going on vacation, or building something. Or you can also book a personalized Reiki session or light code with me. I have published several tarot and oracle decks if you're interested in checking those out to assist you on your spiritual journey. I've also published several books if you are interested in learning, for example, a comprehensive guide to astrology, diving more into the symbology behind tarot and why the cards are what they are on my Fool's Journey card, or in your spiritual work and shadow work or just general personal development journey, my guided self-exploration journal, if that's something that you're interested in. I do have a crystal shop, a candle shop, and I do also hand wrap crystals from time to time, so you can always find one-of-a-kind personalized intention jewelry on my store, as well as spiritualistic merch, zodiac merch, and fun little things like that as well. So all of that will be on my Etsy at spiritualistic, linked in the description box. So thank you for being here. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. Don't forget to check out my Inner Circle channel here on YouTube and my Patreon, also in the description. Thank you. I'll see you next time, and namaste. Hi there, Group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at the highest vibrational next step you can take, and you selected the third group with the Solar Plexus card. Group number 3. The first thing that I'm getting here for you is to stand in your power, rip it off like a band-aid, whatever that is, send in that application, dump them, go for it, send that text, remove yourself from the situation, create that boundary, whatever this is for you. It has a lot to do with standing in your own willpower. Now, I'm not getting standing in your power, I'm getting standing in your willpower, which is, kind of synonymous, but that difference there wanted to be reiterated. Your will is in alignment with the will of the divine for you. And you're being called to remember at this point in time that your boundaries, your willpower, it is used in order to keep you in integrity. It is not to protect you from external forces. It is meant to keep you on your path, in alignment. And so, with the Solar Plexus card from my Light Codes Oracle deck, let's flip this over to the actual light code so that we can scry and channel some more messages for you here. Group 3, something has been going around and around in circles, but it's a pattern that you've already broken, interestingly enough. So it seems as though you're being called to learn something new from a similar looking situation. I'm getting that the situation is teaching you something that you've already learned. However, the application of such is more of a crossing the T's and dotting the I's kind of way. Meaning, maybe you learned how to set boundaries in the past. And maybe this time you are learning about ways you can communicate those boundaries or make it so that you don't even really need to assert them once and for all. Kind of honing it in a little bit, if you will. Perhaps you learned your worth. You learned that you deserve a lot better than something you were settling for. And this time you are learning not just that you deserve better, what it is that you deserve, but actually how to be open to receiving that when it comes in your life. So whatever this is kind of the next level of something that you've been learning a little bit. You're honing it in, tightening it up a little bit. Now for the highest vibrational next step for you, group number 3, it has a lot to do with you standing in your power, remembering that your will is in alignment with divine will. You know what your path is, you know what your dharma is, and there's a little bit of an energy here of you knowing that you did not want or deserve to get sidetracked. And there might be some energies here intending to throw you for a loop because there's something here about you or your energy that can be, I'm hearing, capitalized upon. Now, group 3, your highest vibrational next step is actually going to be you remembering that you are the shit, basically. You remembering that you are that person. And this is not in a comparative way. It is not to say that you are above or below anything or anyone else, but it is to remind yourself how special you are. Every single being in existence on and off this earth is special in their own unique ways. And you being special in a particular way does not negate someone else being special. And in that same way, someone else feeling insecure does not negate what it is that you are worth, how you should value yourself, what it is that you have to offer, and who you are as a beautiful individual. So, You're being called at this point in time to continue to grow your light and not to be so convinced that because your light is so big, you deserve to be in the darker areas, or that it's right or righteous for you to be around those more negative energies, those more lost energies. Your path is not something that you wish or deserve or desire to be derailed from. And you can really only be taken for a loop, taken for a detour. You will always get to where you're going. However, you also do not want to waste your time being affected by something that you see coming a million miles away. I'm hearing the phrase, forewarned is forearmed. One of my high school French teachers used to say this all of the time. Now, group number 3. Your highest vibrational next step, it is actually to reassess your boundaries with yourself. Now, it's not necessarily to determine those boundaries and then text that person, hey, so XYZ, this is how I've been sacrificing my own self and my virtues, and this is how I feel that you're out of integrity. It's not anything like this. It's not coming out as an offensive energy. But what it is coming out as is reminding yourself that you are incredible. You are divinely and spiritually invincible. Now, this is not saying that your body is invincible. It's not saying that your ego is supposed to be invincible. It's not saying that your narrative is perfect all the time in your mind's creation. But what it is saying is that spiritually you are invincible because you are a refraction of the Creator. You are spiritual. You know who you are. And because of this, as much as you might have a million more ego deaths in your life, as much as you might unlearn different patterns and programmings moving forward in life, you still know who you are. You still know that even if you are still a growing being, if you are still an evolving being, you still deserve respect. You still deserve love. You still deserve everything that you want. And sometimes what we think we want versus what is healthy for us and what we actually want, we might have to go through journeys every now and then to determine what that is. And I see that you're on a little bit of this right now, meaning what it is that you want might be for your standards to be met without you needing to ask for them. And no, group 3, that's not too much to ask. What you might want at this point in time is to be given the respect that you deserve without you needing to walk in the room like you own it. But at the same time, you're learning a little bit of both of those lessons, two sides of the same coin. The gentle and the grace that comes with that humbleness and that pride, and also lack of budging that comes with that confidence. It is the confidence in the divine, that the divine is you, and the humbleness that the divine is you. It is both. It is that core that's in the center. It's hollowing out that center. The solar plexus coin, if it's not in perfect balance, one side is pride and the other side is humility. It's humbleness. And so some might be very, very prideful that they're so humble. Others might be so insecure in themselves that they end up being very arrogant. And actually the hollowed out, very ascended, kind of enlightened version of the solar plexus, it is that bright light of the sun. It is that bright light of the divine. It is the fact that you are humble enough to know that it's thy will to my will, and you are confident enough to know that you are in that divine energy and the divine is what steers the ship. Therefore, you can be as confident as you want because you know that you look the way you're supposed to, and that is perfect because the universe decided. You know that you feel great, you are on the right path, you are doing the right thing, you are confident, you are moving the right way because you are taking one step in the right direction every single day. And so, well, this is the energy that wanted to come out, channeling off the first light code for you, group number 3. Let's take a look at the cards now and see what your highest vibrational next step is for you. This reading came out a little bit differently than the other two, but that's okay. We would rather you get the reading that you deserve and the reading that you want, as opposed to just exactly what is on the title all of the time. So, what is the highest vibrational next step for group number 3? What is the highest vibrational next step for group number 3? I'm hearing ITGIRL. You know I am that girl. Okay. So what is the highest vibrational next step for group number 3? Look after your physical and spiritual health. Read. Okay, I'm getting to read, to keep a journal, to tap in with, I'm getting the vibe of Athena. I'm getting the vibe of a writer, of a reader. I'm just getting this very mercurial vibe, but it's kind of like a Libra Mercury. It's not a Gemini Mercury. Now, what I am getting here with the Follow Your Heart card, the highest vibrational next step for you is going to be for you to actually decide and almost intellectually reprogram your subconscious and your conscious minds a little bit. Now, I'm not saying you need to go in and scoot everything around, but what we are taking a look at is practicing affirmations for you. Your highest vibrational next step is for you to follow your heart and tell yourself that you deserve to follow your heart and that you know what that is and you are amazing at that. That is what your path is, and you are more than enough. You have been called, group number 3, literally. And so that's how you know that the divine has your back. Your highest vibrational next step is to remind yourself that you're on the right path because the divine put you there. Your ego's not putting up a fight with the divine. Your ego's not putting up a fight with the people around you. What you're doing is what you're meant to do. And so you're being called at this point in time to tap in with your angels, spirits, guides, ancestors. What you're being called to do is connect spiritually and also have confidence in the things that come through as well. If you are receiving something like this situation is not for you yet, still walk through it until it is time. This is what you shall do. If your spirituality, if your angels, they are telling you, we are protecting you, we are guiding you, follow the light, do not go there, turn left instead of right. Hey, take a moment, breathe a little bit, read that book, open up that page, pull out that paper, whatever it is. Follow your heart, follow your inner guidance. You are intellectual, you are smart, you are innovative. And the highest vibrational next step is for you to actually figure out how it is that you're going to put a plan together that is going to kind of take those weak spots, what you are perceiving to be your weak spots, and to kind of muscle them into where they need to go. Now, we're not encouraging, you to kind of push up against what is in your nature. We're not asking you to push up against your intuition or even what you know is meant for you. But what we are asking for you to do is to be comfortable getting outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Now, remember that sometimes your comfort zone is there to protect you. It's there sometimes to keep you in your integrity, just like boundaries are. But your comfort zone can also be something that is keeping you in a place where you're uncomfortable. You might stay in a relationship that's not for you because it's comfortable, but you know it's not for you. So are you really comfortable, or did you just tell yourself this? So kind of exploring areas like this. If you are working at a job that underpays you, but you don't have the time or you're contractually obligated not to, open up another job, dive into a side hustle. Because of this, you might need to take a look at that being a weak spot. And you're being called to have confidence in yourself, to tap in with your solar plexus, not to necessarily overthink it, not to necessarily verbally tell everyone what's going on and that you have these problems and it's their job to fix it, but rather what you're being called to do for your highest vibrational next step, meaning that this is not your only option, of course. Your highest vibrational next step is for you to sit down, meditate on it, journal everything down. Take a look at your gratitude list and sit down and actually write down affirmations and manifestations for yourself. You are being called at this point in time to backtrack these manifestations and visions. Now, this is not always the advice you will receive on my channel. It is not always the advice that you're going to receive in manifestation. It is simply one of the tools that can be in alignment with different intentions. And your highest vibrational next step right now is actually to visualize something, create a vision board, write something down in your journal, sit down and meditate, write down what it is that you're channeling, take a look at these things, take a look at these big picture things, and then say, what is that group 3 doing right now that's a little different? Is that group 3 taking a 10-minute break in the middle of their day to do some abs? Is that group 3 taking their vitamins before they go to bed? Is that group 3 putting together a financial plan so that they can reach where they want to reach in an earlier time, maybe cut their retirement expectation out by 5 years? What can you do today? How can you take one step in the best direction? One little step further, one step in the right direction today. Group number 3, your highest vibrational next step. It's going to involve giving yourself a little more space to do what it is that you want. And we do have this mental narrative here, meaning that you are going to be growing out of some things that you have learned over time. You do have a few things to unlearn. And since you have the solar plexus card, you're being called to be confident in yourself while you unlearn these things. Sometimes, when we unlearn things that we were so sure they're correct, or we're so sure this is the answer, we're so sure that this situation is for you, or it's not for you, or this is the direction you're going in, or this would be so fun. When you unlearn something like this, whether it's a belief system, whether it's an idea, whether it's a narrative, you are being called to still be confident in yourself. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be the smartest one in a room, and it's okay to graduate out of that room and then be the least educated one in the new room. That's good. That means that you graduated. And so that's what's going on here for you. But still hold that same confidence. Don't be cocky like you know the most in the room that you don't. But do have that confidence that you are supposed to be in that room, group 3, because you are. And the highest vibrational next step for you is for you to walk around like you've been called to be there, because you have. You are in this body. The fact that your parents' reproductive systems manifested you is basically a miracle. It is the probability is not on the side of that occurring, and it still does anyway. Your consciousness is in your body. You are alive and healthy and well. And you are on this channel. You're listening to this right now. None of these things are accidents, and none of these things have a high likelihood of occurring. And with that being said, it had a 100% probability that it would occur, because it was the divine that chose this. And that is where you can pull your confidence from. Group 3, oh my gosh, how are you going to pull that off? Because the divine told you. Because the divine is helping you through it. Because you might have some areas where you need to unlearn something. Because you might have some areas where you're being called to grow or heal or evolve. And guess what? That is a privilege. You're doing the work. You should be proud that you are doing the work. Your highest vibrational next step, group number 3, it is to give yourself some space and also to pace yourself a little bit. You are being given the building blocks of this next chapter of your life. And it might actually serve you a little bit more at this point in time to slow down and place each brick down with love, one after the other, and very, very carefully, consciously, and lovingly put them together. When something is made with love, with patience, with time, it comes out better. I'm being shown that temple in Spain, I think it's in Barcelona, but I could be wrong, that temple in Spain that they've been building for hundreds of years now. And it's almost done being constructed, but it's so intricate, it's so ornate, just like you, just like your life path. So don't throw those bricks down together just because you know what you're building. Let yourself take your time, pace yourself, give yourself space. Give yourself space to show up in the ways that honestly, authentically honor you. And that might be showing up, rolling up your sleeves and getting the job done. And other days it might be not showing up. Other days it's getting out of bed, putting on your big giant comfy t-shirt and doing some breath work. And wherever that is, honor it and be confident that you're doing the right thing. You're growing at the right pace. You're headed in the right direction. You're learning the right things. You're understanding the right things. You're unlearning the right things, and you're going where you're meant to be. So with this, your highest vibrational next step is actually going to be to, yes, pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities, but to almost a little bit more than you're used to, okay? Stop asking why, when, where, how. You're being called to almost release the guesswork. Release the guesswork from your energy field and simply have that confidence. Okay, so let's take a look at the tarot here so that we can pull a little more grounded and tactical energies for you about your highest vibrational next step. So angel spirits, guides, and ancestors of group number 3, please, what is their highest vibrational next step? Okay, I'm hearing do take reversals, okay? So again, you are being called not to speak up about something, not to have a particular conversation, but I'm hearing it's don't waste your breath, okay? Because that is not what you are here to do. You are not here to, maybe it's parent someone, maybe it's mother someone, maybe it's teach someone. You are not here to set a certain boundary. You are not the one, okay? Is what I'm hearing. You are not the one. That is not what you're learning, okay? Do you remember in the beginning of this reading, group number 3, we talked about how right now you are learning a different aspect, a more defined aspect of something that you've learned before. So what this means is that you're not learning how to speak up for yourself. You're learning, it's literally a waste of breath. And that's what's different. Same situation, different approach, okay? So your highest vibrational next step, it is actually to leave something or someone behind in the dirt. It is to, I'm hearing actually a song that goes, humble thyself in the sight of the Lord, which is something that you do. And I'm also getting something that a few situations or people around you could afford to do as well, which is why also you are being called not to speak because you are not the one, okay? You are also being called to I'm hearing again, ITGIRL. You know I am that girl. You are being called, okay, to almost like, I'm hearing if you got it, flaunt it. Strut like you mean it. Free your mind. Okay, Barcelona coming up. I don't know why, but that can be significant. Anyone want to go to Barcelona with me? I've never been. So we have the Seven of Cups here, the Queen of Cups, the Fool, and we have the Knight of Coins in reverse at the back of the deck, the Four of Swords. Something that you have taken your time to heal from. Something that you have learned you've healed from already, okay? Coming up and saying, well, that wound is no longer there. Would you like to face the assailant once more? And this can be a vibe, right? It doesn't have to be a person. It doesn't have to be that same job. It doesn't have to be that same, let's just say weapon or whatever that is, okay? It doesn't have to be the same one. However, that energy, okay? Hey, so you're not tired anymore. So now that you got a good night of sleep, why don't we stay up all night again for days on end? Oh, you're over your burnout? Great, let's start over. Oh my gosh, it's been enough time that you forgot how I treated you? Well, that's great. I know that you've grown, so why don't you let me back in? No. And, group 3. Your highest vibrational next step is to honor the work that you've done on yourself and trust that, yes, there still are options out there for you. You are still growing and evolving. There are still things for you to unlearn, okay? Patterns, ideas, narratives, okay? And that's okay. You are a human. It comes with the skin suit, okay? Don't worry about it. However, your highest vibrational next step, it's actually going to be to feel yourself a little more. It's going to be to, I'm hearing Feeling Myself by Nicki Minaj, all right? It is going to be to maybe dress up a little bit more. Maybe it's to walk into that room, maybe not like you own the place, but walk into that room like you are meant to be there, like you were called by divine to be there, because you were. And you're also being called at this point in time, Knight of Coins in reverse, not to hold on to something when you have better options out there. Again, the Knight of Coins with reverse, in reverse with the Seven of Cups here with the Ace of Wands, it's actually saying that you can afford to have a little more spontaneity. And I say this very gently, okay, we're sprinkling this on top, okay, we're not dumping it on top of this energy, we're sprinkling it. You can be a little less responsible. Now, we're not telling you to be irresponsible, right? We're sprinkling this energy, okay? You can afford to be a little less on top of your shit. Now, I'm not saying, again, pull up your whole life, right? But we are saying a little bit of spontaneity, a little bit of fun, a little bit of exploring your options, a little bit of, even when you are maybe being a little bit more, I don't want to say reckless because that's a really strong manifestation of this vibe, but even when you are being a little more, let's say curious, let's call it curious, then even that is divinely orchestrated. Even that is going to lead you into where you're meant to be. So follow those little energies even, because it might be also part of your calling. And so here we have, notice where this energy lies. It's right on top of the mental narrative card. A couple of things to unlearn, like, that's temptation, I shouldn't follow it. Maybe it's fun. Maybe it's teaching you something about yourself. Now, we're not saying to go and dive into all those shadow energies and just like embrace them. But with that, in that same vein, however, do explore your options. Be a little more spontaneous. Some of the things that you have in your mind, maybe pertaining to right and wrong, pertaining to pride and humbleness, pertaining to what is just and what is unjust. A little bit of this is being unlearned for you. It might look like, for example, you being in a situation, let's just say you're entering a room with people that you've never been in before. You go from being in a room where you know everyone's name and you're like the super popular cool kid in that room, okay? You go into this new room, you don't know anybody. Now, you know that you're supposed to be in there, but you don't own the place, right? You don't know everybody. You don't think that you are, all that in a bag of chips in that room, but you do know you're supposed to be in there. With this energy, maybe you have preconceived notions about the people in that room. Maybe you take a look at the way everyone is dressed, and maybe you have some conditions put in your mind by maybe your parents, by your neighborhood you grew up in, by the schooling system that you had, by the country that you come from, about what is in those hearts of those people, what's in the energy of those people. And maybe if you don't understand it, the associations you have with those energies might be one thing or another, but that is something to unlearn, and that's okay. There's space for that. However, some of these things will be right, some of these things will be wrong, and that is why also you're being called to keep it in until you receive that validation of your faith. And I'm not saying that you're needing or receiving external validation like this. I'm getting Spirit is going to go, God is going to go, the universe is going to go, hey, You are not the one, okay? Keep it down. Keep it down. Swallow your tongue until I show you an axolotl, okay? And then you see that axolotl, and then you are, hey, but by that point, you've already learned. You've already unlearned. You've already made friends with. You've already gone through a certain awakening. You've already explored that thing. And so, that is what you're being called to do in your highest vibrational next step. Can we get some more information for group number 3 about their highest vibrational next step, please? Remember this is a huge one. Okay, please, group 3. Remember the amount of effort, the amount of work, the amount of love, the amount of tears, the amount of smiles, the amount of laughs, the amount of effort, the amount of strength that it took you to heal from certain situations. Some doors you're leaving wide open because you're happy, you're healthy, you're healed, it's all better now. Does that mean that you would let that assailant back in the room? No, you would add 5 locks to the door and you would change the one that was there first. You don't just leave the door wide open. Okay, and for some of you, I'm not getting that. For some of you, this is something like subconsciously, like locking the door when you're home can make you feel a little bit safer subconsciously if that's not something that you're practicing. It can also be something like a feng shui tip. For example, it is bad feng shui to have something hanging above your bed because subconsciously your body is aware that it could fall on you while you're sleeping. Now, I'm not trying to project, right, like fear programming into you. We don't do that. But there are things like this that can help you subconsciously feel safer, subconsciously feel more confident, like wearing those jeans where you know for a fact your butt looks good in those jeans, okay? And maybe you're walking into a situation that has nothing to do with those jeans, your outfit, how good your butt looks, but maybe it's something where you are being called to utilize your intellectual abilities, or you're interviewing for a job, or you are meeting up with a business partner or something like this, and just the fact that you know your butt looks good in those jeans is something that can increase your confidence throughout the day. So you are being called to have a couple little things like that, right? Allow yourself to maybe, just in case, keep that little safety thing in your purse. Maybe just in case, lock the door when you're home alone, even if you don't feel like you need to. Remove that thing that's hanging over your bed. Ways to subconsciously make you feel safer, more comfortable, and more confident. What we're really aiming for is confidence, but that safety thing came up first because it's falling under the umbrella of the message. You are not the one, because remember how much effort, remember how much work, remember how much time went into you healing from that, okay? Healing from all of this, okay? Now we have the devil here saying, well, what if I don't get what I want? What if I end up in this room and then everyone thinks that I'm silly and stupid and I don't really belong and it's weird because I don't know anybody? Hey, I'm here. The devil is coming here to say, if you can't beat him, join him. And I don't like that phrase. Let me tell you why. Your highest vibrational next step, it is not to say, well, should I just follow what everyone else is doing so that I can fit in? And it's also not to say, well, if I don't fit in, that means that I'm supposed to be up against creating friction towards this energy. No, it just means that it's new. And that's great. It's an opportunity to grow. When you're in a new environment, it means congratulations, you graduated from the old one. And it might be nice and comfortable to be in a place where everyone puts you on a pedestal. It might be nice and comfortable to be in a place where you know you are the shit. You know people put respect on your name. That's great. That's fun. I love that for you. Don't lose that. But don't allow that to prevent you from stepping into a new room where maybe you're saying, oh, these shoes might be a little bit big for me. That's okay. But guess what? You're not alone. And you can always give it up to the universe too. Give it up to God. Hey, this is a little too big for me right now. And guess what? Your angels, spirits, guides, ancestors, universe, God, spirit, source, light will go, hey, group 3, guess what? I got you. You know what? It would be cool if you could maybe think about stepping in this direction a little bit sometimes. It would be kind of cool if you could make a nudge in this direction. But if it's too much for you right now, don't worry. We got you. They're not just going to throw you into the pool with your glasses and your clothes on, right? It's going to show you the pool. It's going to provide you with a floaty, and it's going to go, you know, it's about time that you get in, but that's your choice. It's your choice. And so, your highest vibrational next step, it is to detach the devil with not speaking, okay? It is to find your voice and not to not speak up because you are swallowing something because of your boundaries or because of your lack of boundaries. It is to detach from that energy and to not speak because you respect yourself too much to waste your breath on that. That's the difference in the vibe there. We got a powerhouse, group 3. Ooh, powerhouse you're awakening to with the high priestess coming out. Group 3, you're on top of it. You really, really are. You're on top of it. And again, you're on top of it so much that Spirit told you it's okay to have your shit together a little bit less. And I don't usually swear in my readings, but let me tell you, when I do, there's a reason, okay? So we have 210, so that can be significant. You could be seeing 1010, maybe 210, the date could be significant for someone here. Or we have also the difference here is the number 8, which is abundance. We have 8 and 0, so that's a really significant alignment of energy there as well. You are not seeing the abundance through the situation because you're at a clean slate. And when you are the new one in a situation, the new one in a room, when you are in that place that you've graduated into, when you are a freshman in this energy, when it is your first day of school, basically, when it is your first day on the new job, whatever it is, your intuition led you there and you know this is a smart investment in your future and it feels fun, it feels good. Go slow, but not so slow that it removes your options. And it's okay for you to speak to everybody in the room before you find out who's going to be your friend and who's not. Before you find out who's a smart investment and who's just fun to hang out with. Before you know who's who, what's what, what's going on. You are being called to continue to follow your intuition. We have the psychometry and clair abilities, having confidence in your spiritual gifts and abilities, having confidence in your intuition, having confidence that in your ability to get the bag. Some of you, you've been trying to get a bag, literally. It might be finances, it might be like a purse or something. Have confidence in your ability to get the bag, okay? Whatever that means for you. And with the 6 of Swords, with the 4 of Swords here, trust in your ability to sail a ship on uneven seas, not in your ability to anchor it into shore. Let me repeat that. Trust not only in your ability to tie a boat to the dock, and your ability to get the boat onto the sand, and your ability to ground something. Trust in your ability to navigate rocky, uneven seas. Trust your ability to navigate when you don't see land. Trust in your ability to use your intuition to ground what is meant for you. Face mapping is coming up here. Maybe someone here is studying Chinese medicine or they're looking into acupuncture. Maybe someone is looking to go into dental school or orthodontics or something here. Maybe someone is a pediatric assistant or pediatric doctor or something. Follow your intuition. Don't waste your breath. You are not the one, okay? You are ending up in a new place where you're being planted. Your highest vibrational next step is to follow your intuition, have fun while you're doing it, because the universe isn't going to put you in another place to learn a lesson and not have fun. You are being put in a situation where you can have all the fun in the world responsibly and be rational and follow your intuition and invest in your future. Before, you were learning lessons and it wasn't a lot of fun. Then you had fun and maybe the learning slowed down a little bit. Maybe you ended up growing to the biggest, baddest one in the room, but you weren't really learning anything, no intellectual stimulation. Now you're in a place that's more balanced, a little bit of all of it. So walk into that room, maybe it's a little scary, maybe it's a little wet, okay, maybe the seas are a little rocky. Walk into that room like you know you're supposed to be there, because guess who put you there? You, but guess who else? God, the universe, source. Your highest vibrational next step is to remember all of the BS that you went through. Remember that you have other options than to put up with that. And remember that sometimes the best situations in life, they are impulsive, they are spontaneous. I'm hearing classic Hannah Montana. They say that good things take time, but really great things happen in a blink of an eye. Prepare for a plot twist. Prepare for something that you feel coming, but you don't know exactly what it looks like. Prepare to secure the bag. Whatever that means for you. And also, I want to let you know that you are very, very brave. You are very, very beautiful. You are very, very intellectual. You're very, very smart. And you take your time in making decisions because you always make the correct decision, because you find divine counsel first. However, your ability to take time allows you to make decisions better. And your ability to make decisions better means that you no longer need as much time to make these decisions. This is not saying that you don't get to take your time in making decisions, but it is to say that you no longer need to be haphazard about the decisions that you make in the blink of an eye, even the spontaneous ones, because your being irresponsible is still far more responsible than most. And again, this is not a competitive or comparative game, group number 3. This is simply you being humble enough to know that you belong where you are because the divine put you here. So you might not know what it is that you don't know, but you know that you're learning something. And at the same time, you're confident to know that the divine put you here You got business being here, and no, you're not going to waste your breath because you already know what it's like to go through that. And at the same time, we can cross some T's, dot some I's, we can grow while we're here. But that's not going to affect your ability to get to solid land, because that's not what you're learning. You know how to anchor a ship, you know how to land a boat, you know how to tie it to the dock. What you are learning right now is truly how capable you have been for a while at navigating rough, rocky seas. And that makes you a force to be reckoned with. That makes you a legend. That makes you a unit. That makes you unstoppable. It makes you divinely untouchable, irreplaceable, unique. And again, that doesn't make anything or anyone else more or less of that. What we're talking about is you. And everyone else has that too, in their own way. And they might be on their journey to find it. Maybe they've already found it. Maybe they were born with it. Maybe they'll find it in the next life. But that doesn't matter, group 3. Your highest vibrational next step is to remember that you are that. You are that person. You are group 3. Don't forget that. You're where you're supposed to be. You're more than capable. You deserve to have a little bit of fun. Hello. And also, you are not the one to be messed with here. Truthfully. The lessons that you've already learned, they're not coming back around because you haven't learned them. They're coming back around because maybe your energy in those energies needs to change. It's not because you needed to learn something. It's because you needed to unlearn something. And also, you're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to mess up. Because there's really no such thing as messing up. Because one thing about this spiritual growth journey is that you will try and you will succeed. You're not going to try and win every single time. But if you try, you will succeed. Because in the universe's eyes, it is effort. It is effort that counts. Because the divine put you there. And you listen to your divine counsel. You listen to your intuition. You listen to the divine knowledge. You trust your ability on uneven seas. And you already know that you're not the one to be messed with, so don't waste your breath. Stand in your confidence. Look a little cute. Wear those jeans that make your butt look cute. Lock the door so you feel subconsciously a little more safe. That's it. That's your highest vibrational next step. 8 of Swords. Being stuck in your own mind. Releasing a mental narrative, okay? When this comes up and you flicker between yes and no and yes and no and oh, I've learned better than this. No, but this is what I'm used to. Oh, but this seems right. Oh, but it's uncomfortable, right? And that's okay. It's normal. It's absolutely normal. Look at what's giving back to you. Look at what you are receiving. Look at what you can make work, and then look at what works for you, because they will not be the same thing. And that is where you plant your seed. That is your highest vibrational next step, group 3. If you're interested in a more specified, detailed, personal reading, you can work one-on-one with me on my Etsy store at Spiritualistic, also linked in the description box below. You can find personal channeling sessions, tarot readings, astrology, and astrocartography, as well as Reiki sessions. You can also find all of my published books, tarot and oracle decks. You can find my published journals, as well as all of the crystals, merchandise, hand-wrapped crystal jewelry, and spiritualistic and zodiac stuff if you're interested in any of that. If you're interested in following my Patreon, you can find that in the description box below, as well as my YouTube membership Inner Circle channel. As always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. I love you, I'm grateful for you, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you made it this far in the reading, go ahead and make a little sparkle emoji in the comments so that other group 3s can see that you were here. I love you, and namaste.